Okay, the next theorem, the 30, 60, 90 triangle theorem. In a 30, 60, 90 triangle, the length of the hypotenuse is 2 times the length of the shorter leg, and the longer leg is equal to the shorter leg times the square root of 3. So in this diagram, X, the segment that's highlighted in green, which is opposite the 30-degree angle, 30 degrees being the smallest angle, so the highlighted green segment is the shorter of the two legs. That's whatever that is equal to. The hypotenuse, highlighted in purple, is twice as long. And the blue highlighted segment, which is opposite the 60-degree angle, that's referred to as the longer leg. That's equal to the length of the shorter leg, x, times the square root of 3. And we'll look at a few problems to see how this works out on certain problems. So in this problem, the key value is always the shorter leg. The shorter leg in this case is the value for 4. So the hypotenuse is equal to that number times 2. So x is equal to 8. The longer leg, which is the value for y in this case, is equal to that number, 4, times the square root of 3. Next problem. If the hypotenuse is given as equaling 10, first thing we want to find is the shorter leg, which is the value for x. So if we multiply by 2 to find the hypotenuse, we take 10, the hypotenuse, and divide it by 2, and we get the shorter leg is equal to 5. So x is equal to 5. Then we just use the theorem the same as the previous problem, and we have that number, 5 times the square root of 3, gives you the longer leg. Next problem. If the longer leg, which is now at the bottom, is given as equaling any number, we take that number, 9 times the square root of 3 in this case, and divide it by the square root of 3. The opposite of multiplying by the square root of 3 is to divide by the square root of 3. So dividing by the square root of 3 should give us the length of the shorter leg, which is the value for x. So in this case, the square root of 3's cancel, and we get x is equal to 9. Once we know the shorter leg is equal to 9, we double that, and we have the hypotenuse is equal to 18. Next problem. A little bit trickier, but once again the hypotenuse is given. We first of all want to find the length of the shorter leg. So the theorem states that the hypotenuse is twice as long as the shorter leg. So if we take the hypotenuse and divide it by 2, we have the length of the shorter leg. So the hypotenuse divided by 2 is 7/2. Now that can be written as 3.5 or 3.5. We'll leave it as 7/2 because the value for y, the longer leg, is that number times the square root of 3. Now sometimes that will be written as 7 times the square root of 3 over 2. Either one is fine. And one more problem. A little bit trickier still. If the longer leg is the value that's given, so 6, the longer leg, is given, to find the longer leg we take the shorter leg times the square root of 3. So in this case, if we take the longer leg and divide it by the square root of 3, we should have the length of the shorter leg. So that gives us 6 over the square root of 3, but we have to simplify that by rationalizing the denominator. So we multiply by square root of 3 over the square root of 3, which gives us 6 times square root of 3 over 3. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 6 twice, and we have the shorter leg, x is equal to 2 times square root of 3. That number times 2, and I'll put times 2 out in front, gives us the length of the hypotenuse. So 2 times 2 is 4, so we get 4 times square root of 3 is the value for x.